Hi, welcome back to Build with KPL podcast. On this podcast, we build tech businesses and cities. Hosted by yours truly, KPL Sigino. We are currently on season 1, episode 2. Title is Inspiration to Idea to Product. So, following last week's episode where we're talking about our Win Friends app, we're continuing the series. And on this video, we're focusing on how we turn the inspiration, where we got the inspiration, how we turn the idea in building kind of like the UI and the UX, and then building that and having a fortified UI and UX, and then go into the route of creating an actual product. So in this video, we will not actually be creating the product, we'll be creating all the steps before the product creation and how we get to the point where we're actually creating the product. So once again, this project was influenced by the book How to Win Friends and Influence People. It was written by Dale Carnegie. I highly recommend reading the book. It has helped me a lot and helped me realize things for myself. There are some very interesting takeaways from the book. Like one of my favorite things was when the author explained that people care a lot about their names, and I realized that I myself cared a lot about my name. So it wasn't like I was a unique. It made me think that, wow, like, yes, other people do care just as I care about my name. It's not once again, like a unique thing to myself. And how important it is for people to be called by their names, especially when their names are more difficult. But like one story that really, really inspired me to create this is there's a man that the author brought up. He was able to remember thousands of people's names, and I was astonished. I almost thought it was impossible, but I had to stop, and I was like, no, just because I find it difficult, I myself don't think I could do it, doesn't mean somebody else can't do it. And perhaps I can do it too. So that also triggered that idea that, oh, okay, if this person was able to do this thing, maybe I can do it. I still struggled. Because growing up, I had issues with remembering people's names. So I thought, okay, if I'm, let's say, bad at remembering people's names, what can I use that I'm good at to help me with that, with this thing that I'm not so great at? And so I thought, I'm pretty good at technology. Maybe I could apply this some way to help me with this. And so that's how the inspiration for the Win Friends the Win Friends app really came about. And so this book, we were actually reading it in the morning meetup. It is a call with fellow entrepreneurs. So if you guys are interested in entrepreneurship, it's a really amazing community. We meet every day of the week, Monday through Friday. We officially meet from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. But if you want to read books with us and share what you got away from the book, then you get up at 7:45 and you join the call and you share, you read with us. It's an amazing call. I drop a link below. There's a link below to join. There is a promotion. It's $1 for a week. So you should definitely try it out, even if it's just for a week. So you can once again, link in the below. So once the inspiration came, it was now like the idea. What do I actually want this app to be like? So for the process, because I know I want this to help me remember people's names. So like now, what does it look like? What should it actually do? So my process is to, once I get the idea and the inspiration, is actually to write it down. So I wrote down the idea. I want to keep a list of friends that I meet with a fun fact or multiple fun facts about them. And so I draw it out a little bit. For this, all you need is a piece of paper, a pencil, or a pen. My preference is pen. A lot of people like pencil because you can erase. I prefer pen because it's much brighter than pencil. I find it difficult to see with pencil. I don't know. I just prefer how bright a pen is, the ink. So as you can see here on the left, on the upper left, we have the kind of that's like the home screen of the app. Like this is the main piece of the app is a list of my friends. And so because I want to add more friends, I don't want to just have 3 friends. I have a little add button so that every time I meet a new friend, then I can add them to the list. So when I add them, I ask for the names and then a fun fact or multiple fun facts if they have multiple things that they want to share. And then I save it so that when I meet them again, I remember their names and I remember a fun fact. Because who doesn't like a fun fact? And also it makes me feel good to like be like, oh, I remember this thing about you. Like, because I like it. I like when people remember things about me. So I like doing the same thing to other people. And also I wanted to be able to, like, let's say when I click on friend A, that I find out what friend A likes. And another really important thing for the app, I thought to myself was the ability to actually search for people because as the list grows longer and longer, it'll take a while to scroll through. So I thought about adding, the search feature. So once I start typing A, it'll show up all the people, all my friends that have A in their names. So it would have Aaron, Alan, Autumn, and Audrey. And then and once I can click on their names and I wanted to be able to edit. So sometimes you learn something cool, a new cool fun fact about your friend. So you want to edit it. Like sometimes you learn when it's their birthday, like or they tell you about something they want for the birthday. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna write this down so that I can surprise them on the birthday. So that was really the idea behind it. And also there's a delete function. Sometimes you do separate from people. That's life. That's how it works. Or maybe you just delete it because you misspelled their names or whatever. It is what it is. So it was an important feature. So after we write out the idea in pen and paper, I find it really great to actually have it designed with an actual design tool, design software. So for this, I use Adobe Xd, which is a free software you guys can download and use. And if it's your first time using it and you want any help, then there's a bunch of YouTube tutorials. That's how I got started. And if you have any questions about it, then you guys can ask me the questions below and I'll answer to the best of my ability. And I'll send you resources that I've used to help you in your journey to that. And so when I was building the mock-up, the first thing I did was transfer really what I had on paper to Adobe Xd. The reason why I really like Adobe Xd is because I'm able to actually play with colors in a really easy way. And I can play with proportions. They give you the right proportions for like a phone screen, so you can set it up and figure out when you actually do it with code that you set up the proportions correctly. It's much easier to transfer and you don't have to do guesswork. It helps a lot, at least for me. And I think it'll help you guys a lot too to reference back and forth. You don't have to stop coding and then try to figure it out when you can just reference back to what you actually have designed. So for this app, as you can see, it's pretty simple. There's really just like one screen and a couple of dialogues that pop up, like a couple pop-up dialogues. And this is the actual book cover that I have. I really like the colors. I thought they were amazing. So this is inspired me to use those colors with the app. And I do believe in using what already exists. You don't have to create necessarily all the time something new. So the colors were already there, the colorways was already there. Somebody already spent time figuring this out. So I thought, it would be smart to just use what somebody else already did and put their hard work in and have to do the same thing. So thank you, whoever designed this book cover. It's really nice. I really like the colors. I like the way you set it up. Good job. And so once you finish doing the mock-up, it becomes creating the product. And actually, before you create the product, what I like to do is actually write down the list of things that we will, technologies that we need to use. So for example, I know that I want to create a list. So we would be using recycle view. So I can come up with, okay, like how do I create a recycle view? Do I know how to create a recycle view? And if I don't know how to create a recycle view, where can I find those resources? Fortunately for us, YouTube does have a lot of videos on recycle views. I'm thankful for all the people that shared how to build recycle views. And I want it to be a way to create a fab and dialogues. So all these things are things that we can find on YouTube. If you guys need further help, I will be coding these things on the next episode. But if I go too fast, I don't explain properly, which that's not my goal. My goal is to explain as well as possible how these things work. If you find that somebody else can teach you better with these very specific things, then I really, really implore you to check out all the YouTube tutorials. There's a bunch of them and they're amazing. A lot of people have helped, and that's how I was able to learn to do this myself, was from watching other people on YouTube, so I'm not the only person. And I also use this to design logos for the application, so it's really cool. That being said, just because I have the mockup doesn't mean that it's the final cut of the product. That's what the product is necessarily going to look like, especially for a smaller product, for a smaller project. It's easier to play around with it when you're coding, because sometimes there's limitations that you don't realize, like when it comes to UX, like the usability. Like it might look good on paper, but when somebody's actually using it, when you're actually using it, you're like, wow, this doesn't work. Or sometimes there's this a thing that you create and it's a lot more complicated than you thought for what it could give it. So you could actually do it, for instance, and it could take you, let's say, 10 hours instead of 2. And it might not make it much better. It might just make it more complicated, and so it creates a bunch of problems. So that's why this is really like a more refined. It's the essentially the second draft of your idea. And then while you're building the product, it'll be a third draft, and then until you publish, it'll be your fourth draft, your final draft. But with software development, you almost will always update things. So as you see, like you're like, oh, this could be better, this could be faster, things of that nature. And since, for this project, we're doing just local, this also helps us figure out that we can just build locally. We can use room databases. We don't have to worry about anything related to the internet, servers, and things like that. So once we have that down, then this is actually what the app looks like at the moment. We have the ability to add friends, the ability to search them, and here we're able to edit or delete them as we see fit. And then here we have the ability to export, since it's a local thing. Let's say you have no more space on your phone and you want to delete this app. I don't want you to lose all your friends' information. So you have the ability to export it and you'll be able to save it on whatever other devices that you need. If you need to email it to yourself, if you need to email it to somebody else, you need to save it somewhere else on your phone, or you have like a hard drive connected to your phone, whatever it is that you prefer. I wanted to give you the ability to actually export it, because I thought it would suck a lot if you uninstall the app and everything is just gone. So that's really it for how to turn an inspiration into an idea and then into a product. With this video, we won't actually be coding the product. We'll be doing this the next video. I just wanted to kind of show you the process of how I came up with it, and I think that it's a pretty good process. It helps tremendously. It has helped me tremendously than just going straight into coding. I think that creates a lot of time problems where you're just mashing your head because you don't really have a clear idea of what you want to do. But having these steps makes it, at least in my case, and hopefully it's able to help you build something faster, better, because you know what you're doing. You're not just building a law as you go. Once again, thank you for listening. I had fun building this actually. I really liked building it because it is something that I want for myself. You'll be able to download this in the Google Play Store under the Win Friends. And you'll also be able to build it yourself. And if you want to upload it in the Google Play Store, then you'll also be able to do that. So once again, thanks for watching. Have a nice one and see you in the next episode.